Hey everyone, we are going to continue on with the notes in this unit. So you should be in your notes packet. We are on page 7. It should look like this. You should still have your packets. I did post blank ones in case you have lost them. If you lost it, please take out a pen and a piece of paper. Other than that, though, you shouldn't really need to go print or anything. So we'll be good here. And so we're going to carry on with target C. Make sure you did Friday's lesson if you didn't, but talking about rationalizing the denominator so that you will feel best prepared for today. If you need a link to yesterday's lesson, let me know and I will help you out with that. Also, if you were doing work during the 2 weeks of remote learning, then or e-learning, then this makes you are learning this again, but that also was almost a month ago, so it's probably good to refresh yourself with this. But you may already have the notes filled out, so just follow along with the videos to keep yourself updated. So we're going to be talking about reference. We're going to be talking about 45, 45, 90-degree angles. So we've been talking about 90-degree angles this entire unit. Remember, that's just where we have a right angle and then we have an hypotenuse. And we are going to talk about a specific kind of right angle. So we're talking about 45 and 45, 90-degree reference triangles. And they are going to follow certain rules to solve for their side length. So we can't just use SOHCAHTOA right now. So first things first, in a 45, 90-degree triangle, we have two angles that are 45 degrees and one that's 90, go figure. And so remember, we have our 90-degree angle, and whatever is across from my 90-degree angle is my hypotenuse. That's not new. We know that. And then the two other sides of the triangle that are left over are going to be called my legs. They are both 45 degrees. They are both the sides across from 45-degree angles. So they are going to be called the same thing. So we also have our reference triangle. Our reference triangle is going to be this triangle here. I'm going to talk about it all the time. And these are where the rules we're going to follow. The legs of a triangle are called X. And the hypotenuse is going to be whatever X is times the square root of 2. Right now you're thinking, huh? But I promise we're going to do some examples below and they will all come together. So we're going to talk about the rules. I'm always going to talk about the rules. And so I'm going to put them in this box, and you might want to highlight or star this box because it's very important. Remember that if I give you a quiz, you can use your notes because it'll be done at home. And so you'll want to highlight this so you can easily find this and know that this will be helpful for you. So in a 45, 45, 90-degree triangle, the legs are the same. So I'm going to zoom in. And I apologize for my handwriting. I'm just writing right on my screen with my fingers. So in a 45, 45, 90-degree triangle, the hypotenuse is going to be whatever X is times the square root of 2. So I'm just summarizing what's up here. So in a 45, 45, 90-degree triangle, the legs are the same, and we're going to call those X, and then the hypotenuse is whatever X is times the square root of 2. Okay, so let's just jump into some examples. So we're going to do example 1, and this says find the missing sides. So we are missing this side here, and let's call it a letter we're not going to use much. Let's call this side T, and let's call this side V. That's just what we're calling so we can solve for them. But regardless, every single time you do a problem like this, we are going to label our 3 sides. So here's my right angle, and so across from that is going to be my hypotenuse. And then based on what we just learned, you learned that the remaining 2 sides are going to be my legs. So this is a leg, and this is a leg. If you have questions up to here, please pause this video and send me a message. I will happily help you. Again, T and V are just what we're going to call the missing sides so that we know what our answer is going to be. Okay, and then so after you label your 3 sides, leg, leg, and hypotenuse, go and find what you were given. You were given that one of your legs is equal to 6. So then you're going to set what you were given equal to your rule. So we were given a leg. And so let's go back to our triangle with the rules and see what it says about legs. In a 45, 45, 90-degree triangle, the legs are the same, and they're called X. So we can call this leg X. So did I just solve what X is equal to? Yes, X is equal to 6. So then if this leg is equal to 6, then what is this leg going to be equal to? Well, it's going to be equal to the 6 because both of these sides are the same. Both of your legs are the same. So we solved for that. Notice I just called it T because I just want to know what side we're missing. And then we need to solve for my hypotenuse. So again, go and look at your rules. Let me zoom. Oh, that's way too much zoom out. So sorry. Oops, sorry about that. Let me get right back to that. Here we go. I'm sorry. This is why I shouldn't do anything fancy with the computer ever. Here we go. Sorry. So the hypotenuse, the rules for the hypotenuse is it's whatever, any 45, 90 degree triangle, the hypotenuse is whatever x is times the square root of 2. Did we find what x was? Yes, x is equal to 6. So we take whatever x is equal to and multiply it by the square root of 2. So this is equal to x times the square root of 2. And we found what x was equal to. X is equal to 6. So it's 6 times the square root of 2. And we don't have to simplify that any further. And there we go. These are our two answers, 6 and 6 times the square root of 2. Again, if you have any questions up to here, please pause the video and ask me questions you may have. This likes to jump a lot, so I'm sorry. You'll just have to bear with me finding the page I was just at. So let's do another example. So again, here's the same triangle. It's just on its side. So don't let that fool you. It's going to be the same thing. You want to label your three sides, your length, or I'm sorry, your legs and your hypotenuse. So start with your hypotenuse. Here's my right angle. And so the side across from my right angle is my hypotenuse, and we know that. And then so for 45, 90 degree triangles, my other two sides are called my legs. So here's a leg and here's a leg. And then the next thing, sorry, this does not look like the word leg. Leg. Excellent. And then you are going to highlight, you're going to go find what you were given. So I was only giving you a piece of information for one of these three sides, and it was my hypotenuse. And my hypotenuse is equal to 3 times the square root of 2. So now you are going to take the rule that you were given, or just what you were given, 3 times the square root of 2, and set that equal to what the rule says in your reference triangle. So here's my rules. I have two rules here, the one that's highlighted in yellow and the one that's highlighted in purple, and line it up with what you were given. We were given the hypotenuse. So in a 45, 90 degree triangle, the hypotenuse is whatever x is times the square root of 2. So it's whatever x is times the square root of 2. Okay, when you have a square root side on both sides of the equation like this, we can just cancel them out. If I cross this square root of 2 out, what you do to one side, you have to do the other. And so those are gone. And then so I have x is going to be equal to what's left over. Oh, sorry about that. Let me get back to there. I'm going to fix this for my next video, so I promise it won't happen again, or after this video. I have then, what's left over is I have 3 is equal to x. So we're just going to line that up. If I have 3 root 2 is equal to x times the square root of 2, the square root of 2's match each other. So match the square root of 2's, these match. And then match what's outside with each other. X matches 3. Or 3 is equal to x, and you can do it that way. So once I find what x is equal to, I know what my legs are equal to. Remember, my legs are both equal to x. And so my one leg is 3, and my other leg is going to be 3 because my legs are the same. Okay, if this one confused you, we're going to see it again right here. So bear with me, and we will hold on to this thought. And so we're going to do number 3 right here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more and move over. Okay. So again, you want to label your 3 sides. I have my hypotenuse is across from my right angle. So here's my right angle. So this must be my hypotenuse. Okay, and then that must mean that this is a leg and this isn't a leg. Okay, and then now you are going to want to find what you were given. So the only side that we know something about is this side right here. and that it's equal to 2 times the square root of 2. And now you're going to take what you were given. So remember, we were given that the hypotenuse is equal to 2 times the square root of 2, and you're going to compare that to your rules. Go find the rule for the side you were given. So we were given the hypotenuse. Oops, I don't know where this 2 went, but I'll put it back. And so the rule said the hypotenuse is x times the square root of 2. So whatever my hypotenuse is equal to x times the square root of 2. Okay, and then remember, I have a square root of 2 on both sides of the equal sign, so I can cancel those. And then I just write what I'm left over with. I have 2 equals x. And you always want to find what x is equal to so you can find your legs. So if 2 is equal to x, then that must mean that this leg is equal to 2 and this leg is equal to 2 because they are both equal to x. Again, please pause this video at any time if you need help with this. Then we are going to do questions 4, 5, and 6, or I'm just going to do 4 and 5. 4, let's start it off the same exact way. They do get a little bit different. So if you're bored by now, just hang on to 4 and 5 because these ones are going to be a little bit different. 4, started off the same way though. We've got to label my 3 sides. So first start with your hypotenuse. Here's my hypotenuse across from my right angle. Then that means my other 2 sides are my legs. Alrighty, and then find the side you were given information for. I was told that 6 is my hypotenuse. So then you're going to take what you were given. 6 is my hypotenuse. Take what you were given and set that equal to the rule that it follows for the side that you were given. So remember, we were given the hypotenuse. So the rule for the hypotenuse is that it's equal to x times the square root of 2. I'm right here. X times the square root of 2. And so, 6 is equal to x times the square root of 2. Okay, this is where the problem gets a little bit different. Before, in the problems that we just did, if I had a square root of 2 on both sides, I could just cancel them out and say that x is equal to something. But I don't have a square root of 2 on both sides, so I need to solve for x here. Solve for x. If this was any other problem and I asked you to solve for x, you would tell me that you need to get x by itself. So we need to get x by itself. Get x by, x by itself. Okay, and then so I need to get x by itself. So in this situation, I need to divide both sides by the square root of 2. Square root of 2 and the square root of 2 just cancel each other out. And then so I'm left with 6 divided by the square root of 2. So I'm just going to write what I have over here. I have 6 divided by the square root of 2. What we learned on Friday and what we learned when we were still in school was that you cannot have a rational in the denominator. This is bad. So we need to get rid of that. So in order to get rid of the rationalizing the denominator, one, if you haven't watched the video from Friday, please let me know and I will send you it so you know what we're talking about. But if you did, we're going to multiply both sides of the fraction by the issue. Remember, the issue is that we cannot have square root of 2 in the denominator. So we're going to multiply both sides of the fraction by that. And then we're going to multiply across. What's on the outside gets multiplied what's on the outside. So 6 is the only thing on the outside here. And then square root of 2 is on the inside. Divided by, and then what you need to know is that when you multiply 2 radicals of the same exact number, their square root symbol goes away. So square root of 2 times the square root of 2, those are 2 identical rationals. And so the square root goes away, and we're just left with what was under the radical, and that was 2. You are almost done, except now we need to simplify this. 6 divided by 2 is a nice number. That's 3, and so I have 3 times the square root of 2, and that's what x was equal to. So x is equal to 3 times the square root of 2. And so what that means is I have my hypotenuse is equal to 6, but then x is equal to 3 times the square root of 2, and my legs are equal to x. So this leg is equal to 3 times the square root of 2. And this leg over here is equal to 3 times the square root of 2. So once you find x, the problem's just about done. You just need to tell me that those are the two side lengths. Again, if this is hard for you, please, please, please pause this and let me know. For the sake of room, I'm going to skip 5, but I'm going to do 6 as my last question. Thank you for making it this far. But 5 is just like the same as 6, so if you can do 5, you can do 6. I want to point out something that's new for us. Is one thing you should notice before you even do this problem is that you are not given any angle measures. But remember, two angles that are marked the same way have to be the same measure. And so then if you know that these have to be the same measure, then that should just give it away that this side has to be 45 and this side's going to be 45 as well. This really won't make sense until we learn about the other type of triangles, and then I will show you how to determine which one it is. So, but just for now, believe me that there should be 45 degrees there. And then you're going to start the problem. You're going to mark the angles, the sides, sorry. So here's my right angle, and so across from that is my hypotenuse. Okay, and then with that being said, my other two sides are going to be my legs. Here's a leg. Not just one leg. And we need to solve for what we were given. So first things first, go and identify which side you were given. You were either given your leg, or your hypotenuse, and we were given a leg. And so we were told that this leg is equal to 5. And so write down what you were given, 5, and set that equal to the rule that it follows. So let's go find the rule for legs. So scroll up a little bit. Oops, too much. In a 45, 45, 90-degree triangle, the legs are the same, which is also equal to x. So we were basically given x. X is equal to 5. And so if this leg is 5, then this leg is 5 because the legs are the same. And my hypotenuse, write down the rule for your hypotenuse. My hypotenuse is whatever x is times the square root of 2. But I found x. X is equal to 5. And so my hypotenuse is going to be equal to 5 times the square root of 2 because I just substituted x in. Okay. That's it. The hardest kind of these questions is going to be a problem like number 4. We will practice number 4 tomorrow, or the next day that you have new material will just be practice problems. And I will send you an example of how to do the practice problems, and we will go from there. But please make sure you wrote down all these notes and you understand them, and you will be in constant contact with me. If you have any questions at any time, please let me know. See you guys later.